This Cookout 400 Betting Picks 2025 edition of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Sign up at UnderdogFantasy.com, promo code RACESGPN to get up to $1,000 in bonus credits. We're also brought to you by Edge Boost. Get up to $750 in cashback rewards each month when you sign up at edgeboost.bet and use promo code SGPN.
Driver, start your engine!
Strap in and pull those belts up tight as the Sports Gambling Podcast Network presents the NASCAR Gambling Podcast.
I'm just gonna put my foot on the floor and I'm not lifting till I see God or a checkered flag.
My man.
With all the news and the best bets for your NASCAR weekend.
We want to thank you tonight for these mighty machines that you brought before us. Thank you for the Dodges and the Toyotas. Thank you for the Fords. Lord, I want to thank you for my smoking hot wife tonight, Lisa. In Jesus' name, boogity, boogity, boogity.
Now, here are your hosts, Rod Villagomez and Cody Zeeb.
Welcome in to another episode of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast here on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network. He's Cody Zeeb. I'm Rod Villagomez. It is Tuesday, and that means, my friend, that it is time to give you all of our favorite cup picks for Martinsville, baby. The paperclip, the track that is too tough to clip.
Yeah, too tough to clip. Yeah, sure. I like it. I thought maybe they would rename it. No more Martin Truex Jr. So is it still Martinsville? Or will somebody else change the name this weekend? Who knows, I guess, huh?
It is kind of funny because we have harped all over, and I'm going to actually talk about the 19-car spoiler alert later on in the episode. But I will say that this whole Martinsville thing, it was like he just assured. It was assured that it was going to be a Martin Truex Jr. weekend, and now we can't say that anymore. So I don't know what's going on. Justin checking in the chat saying afternoon. We gave out all the picks in the Discord last night, so just put up the graphic.
You're not too far from wrong. We really gotta dig deep to find picks that haven't already been given out on the Discord. If you're not in the Discord, what are you doing? sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord. Yeah, these guys are keeping it busy over there. A lot of good picks, a lot of good insight, and you get some good numbers before things shift, which is not always a bad thing.
You know what's crazy? And I'll tell you right now, I have to find, I've started to over the last, I guess, couple of months, because I realized that if I go into the Discord before I start making my picks, I get too heavily influenced. And then I have to, guys, if you don't see me in the Discord for like the first couple of days until after the cup pick episode, it's because I'm trying to not give out the same picks that everybody gives out, because I'm trying to do my research that I do before I get there. And then, it's tough.
Yeah, I think we have the Discord to blame this week for ruining what was going to be the car lift bet, because I was thinking, all right, sneaky, like it's Ryan Preece week, like going to be so sneaky. And then just like everybody in the Discord's like, oh, Ryan Preece, can't wait to bet on Ryan Preece. Oh, it's Ryan Preece. And then the odds came out and I was like, God damn it.
Hey, listen,
don't worry. I found ways to bet on Ryan Preece, but
that's true.
He's not the car lift this week.
He was going to be in the graphic, but then I was like, man, I just can't do this anymore. Like I can't do the things that we used to do, because it's almost like the Freemasons when they were putting clues in the dollar bills and all that. Like we put clues in our graphic and then everybody jumps on it. It's like, oh, this is a Priest week. And then they hammer Priest. So I just can't do that anymore either. I can't be irresponsible.
It's good, though. I love it. It's great to see. And we still got plenty of picks that have been talked about. Maybe even a few. I got a guy in the sheet that I haven't seen anybody mention this week yet, Rod.
Yeah, and you know what? It's funny because you grabbed him, and I was this close to putting him in there before
yes.
you. So
it makes me feel even better about it. Love it.
It's true. JDK saying afternoon, fellas. Zonar pumped for some short track racing. Hey, listen, if here's the thing, we've gone super speedway racing. We've gone road course racing. We've gone mile and a half road. I mean, we've covered it all. This Cody, is the first true short track.
Yeah, like this is another iteration where this is the 7th race of the season, and while we've been to 3 mile-and-a-half tracks, they're all completely different from each other. We've been to two super speedways, but both completely different from each other. Like we've been to a short track in Phoenix, but it's 3 or twice the size, I guess, of Martinsville's a quarter mile, isn't it? So No, it's a half mile. Why did I just forget how long? Okay, never mind. Just take that part out, Rod. It's a half mile. So Phoenix is twice the size and not even close in shape, right? So yeah, completely different. And yeah, I'm excited.
I'm excited too. Just want to clean up a couple more, but say hello to Jessica. Jessica's in the chat. Good afternoon. Morning News says the 19's going to win. We'll talk about that in a second.
Yeah, I haven't heard that before, have we?
Junior Hunt's been waiting on this all day, so glad we could be here for you. And hello, Laura. Andrew checking in saying we taught us well. That's the goal, right?
Clip it, Zonar says. No pun intended. I'm pretty sure there was pun intended there. Damn it, Andrew. Will you stay out of the dock? All right, let's go. Move along, Rod.
We taught him well.
We figured it out already.
Hey, here's the thing. Are you looking for all of the other picks and podcasts that are all living in the SGPN world? You can find them all in one place. If you have not already, go download that SGPN app wherever you get your apps so you can spread the word of the NASCAR Gambling Podcast to all those fans and say, hey, listen, we're cashing all over the place here. We're even jumping in and telling them what to pick, even though they've already picked it. And yeah, you can brag on your guys' community for a while, but go download that app on the App Store or wherever you get your favorite apps. All right. Well, there's a random question.
Yeah, before we get started, a random question of the day from Junior Hunt. Why is it so hard for NASCAR to make a good video or for them to make a good NASCAR video game?
There were so many good ones, though, Cody.
For you, there was. Back in the day, like NASCAR Thunder 04, Chase for the Cup 05, Dirt to Daytona, but it's been a long time. iRacing has been pretty great, right? But if you want like a true NASCAR video game, iRacing and Dale Earnhardt Jr., some would say the same entity in ways they are currently putting together NASCAR 2025, I think it is. But it's going to be like Dale Jr. have like the lead person on this video game. It's going to have the career story mode. ARCA is going to be in it for the first time ever since NASCAR actually owns ARCA now. This is leading up to all the buildup this is going to be the greatest NASCAR video game ever. So hopefully we don't get too excited and it lets us down. But iRacing, I mean, if you've ever done iRacing or watched iRacing, it is a pretty incredible product. So them being the ones leading this video game development and allowing Dale Jr. to steer the ship. I mean, the people's man in Dale Jr. Like really he is. So it would be hard for them to go wrong. I know he was talking last week on the DJD about they've been doing the playlist and he was personally contacting bands to make sure that they could use the music in there. So yeah, the buildup is big, but it should be a great video game.
I got to tell you, those EA tracks were the best parts of those games, man. I literally put together playlists based on those because those are some just awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
There was some great playlists on those for sure.
I agree. Yeah, can't wait. And I will have you know that there are several championship trophies in my virtual whatever that is.
I have so many.
Yeah.
Oh, was it? I can't remember what year it was, but they had the Wayland Modifieds and then Truck Series. Like you could go through all of them. I think I swept and won the championship in all 4 series multiple years, and you couldn't even make all the races because you had to be on one track and not the other. It was a lot of fun. But yes, we'll have to dive deeper into our virtual motorsports careers in the off season.
I was going to say we've got an entire off season to talk about our accolades on the track, on the virtual world, but absolutely love it. Yes, we are at Martinsville this week, the first true short track of the season. That's not an exhibition. We are set for 400 laps around this 0.526 paperclip track for 210.400 miles for the Cookout 400, which, this in this case equals laps rather than mileage. So
rather than kilometers or whatever other metric we're using. There is 38 drivers entered for this race, Rod. So you'll have your 36 regular guys. Burt Myers is back in the number 50 car. I think that they should add a bet this week for who takes out who first. Burt Myers taking out Ricky Stenhouse or Stenhouse taking out Burt Myers. If you remember back to, it was the Clash, I believe, where they clashed. So he is back in that 50 Team Amerivet car. It's not going to be any good, so be that what it may. And the return of Casey Mears.
Mhm.
If you are a longer time NASCAR Cup Series fan, former Cup Series guy, he raced for Rick Hendrick in the 25 car for a while. He was in the 7 for Evernham for a bit. He's been in a bunch of, he was in the Cup Series for quite some time. And actually, that might have been Casey Atwood that was in the 7. Never mind. Casey's, they're all the same. But Casey Mears is returning to the series. If you're wondering why Casey Mears was cleared to race and Mike Wallace wasn't, because Mike Wallace is still confused by it. Every time I see Mike Wallace make a post about this, it makes me realize more why they shouldn't have let Mike Wallace race. He's maybe just losing it. I don't know. But Mears has still been actively racing, and they told him no for Daytona. But if he did Martinsville first, then maybe he could do Daytona. And wow, look, he's doing Martinsville first. It's crazy how that works.
Well, sometimes you just have to put grandpa to, and I'm just kidding. I retire.
Rod wouldn't know.
Well, listen, my friend, if it weren't for the fact that I got to go pick my kids up in a little bit, I'd probably be taking a nap too right now. It's way past my nap time, but no, that'll be exciting to see. Obviously not really going to expect much out of him right now, because this is, by all intents and purposes, just a warm-up race for him.
Yeah, and it's the 66 car. Like, we know the Garage 66 MBM car. It's not anything great, right? But does have 489 starts to his career over 15 seasons. He did win a race, the Coca-Cola 600, actually, in 2007. I believe that was when he was with Hendrick. I don't know. I don't have that in front of me, but yes. And he's got a win in Xfinity. He's actually run 3 IndyCar races, Champ Car stuff. So he's been around the block and a long-time racer. So good to see him back out there, but I wouldn't expect to hear us talk about him betting-wise, probably not fantasy-wise either.
No, he's not on either. But
don't burn your one and done on Casey Mears this week.
Not for nothing, he is 20-1 for a top 10 finish on ESPN.
It is for nothing, because
hey, listen, I'm just telling.
Venmo me if you would like to make that bet instead of wasting your money.
I put the clip up on Discord the other day. Somebody was talking about throwing a buck on something, and I put the clip up from Vegas Vacation. It was like, I'll tell you what, you give me the money you were going to bet. We're going to go around back. I'll kick you in the nuts, and we'll call it even.
Yes,
that's essentially what it is.
Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly what would happen here. So, all right, Rod, are we ready to get into the bets?
I feel like I'm ready to get into some bets, but I do have some housekeeping to take care of first, because I would like to do this, and just do it and not worry about much. So let me tell you first about our friends over at DraftKings. When it comes to college basketball and March Mania, one thing is for sure, nothing's for sure. Upsets, buzzer beaters, Cinderella's advancing, top seeds going home early. It's all going to happen. So bet the unexpected every upset, every day with DraftKings Sportsbook. With live betting, exclusive content, promos, and parlays, DraftKings is the ultimate college basketball destination for March. First time? Here's something special just for you. New DraftKings customers bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. I know that we're using it all on March Madness, but boy, I tell you, I've been having some exciting success with Aussie rules football. Just watched Fremantle and Sydney from a couple of days ago. Man, I love this sport. So they also got that too on DraftKings Sportsbook. So you can have some fun betting on some of the Aussie rules football that's happening there, and then watch it on FS1 and FS2 and all that stuff. So a lot of fun to be had, not just on basketball or racing, but all kinds of great sports. So check it all out. Bet the unexpected with DraftKings Sportsbook. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code SGP. That's code SGP for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas, 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. New customers only. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. Now it's my turn to tell you about Rhythm. Rhythm is your home for AI picks and props. Rhythm is already off to a great start, helping you donate to March Madness too. Building your own custom model is easy and profitable. Plus, they got models for NBA golf and coming soon, MLB. Sign up today for a 7-day free trial at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/rhythm. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/RITHMM. About to start building my NFL models. I would love to know where I need to lean, or where I need to.
We don't lean in this network, Rob.
Good God Almighty, where I need to start putting my money for NFL. So I'm gonna use Rhythm to start doing that soon.
It's right around the corner. The draft is almost here. Oh, it's just NFL never sleeps, and I love it. NASCAR also never sleeps, Rod. By the way, all of these throwback schemes, Darlington is next week. It's throwback weekend, and all these schemes are hitting. Denny Hamlin's just came out. It's a throwback to the Carl Edwards Office Depot 99 car. Oh, so beautiful. So love seeing these. You know what else never sleeps? Alex Bowman and Chris Buescher to finish in the top 10. No, this is not a repeat. You could go back. Oh, wow. Rod getting fancy over on the YouTube. This was a surprise to me even. He's bringing the stats for me. I don't even need to bring my own stats. 17 career starts, 5 top 10 finishes, 1 top 5 finish, no poles, 1 win, 18.6 average start, 18.5 average laps, 10 laps led. I like it. That's a beautiful graphic. Nice.
Thank you. I didn't mean I just wanted to unveil it because I've been working on it. I thought maybe that was something you'd like.
I like it. I do. That was a nice surprise. Look, I know that I keep giving these bets out, and I would like to apologize for it, but it keeps hitting. So why would I not keep? You have to keep doing it. So Alex Bowman, top 10 at plus 120. He's absolutely criminal. Did we watch anything last week and see how good he looked? We gave it out at plus money. He comes out. He's fast in practice. He sits on the pole in qualifying, runs a great race. Like there at the end, has a good finish. You love to see it. Now this season, he's been in the top 10 in 5 of 6 races. The one time he wasn't, Atlanta Super Speedway. Okay, things happen, but he's been top 10 if we've been on a super speedway, on a road course, on a short track, on a traditional 1.5 miles, on a worn out surface 1.5 miles. What's going to stop him from being in the top 10 this week? I mean, he's been a top 10 machine. All the talk is, is he going to get replaced? Jeff Gordon. When Jeff Gordon keeps putting out there that he fucking loves you, that's got to give a guy some confidence. Like, come on. But he's been top 12 in 3 of the last, so he's only started 5 next-gen races here. Like a lot of the next-gen races, we've had 6 here. He's only started in 5 because of an injury. But 3 of the 5, he's been inside the top 12. So right there, either in the top 10 or right outside of it. And actually, if you go back over the last 9 here, he's been in top 12 in 6 of those, including a win a couple of seasons ago. So if they're going to keep giving it to me at plus money, I'm going to keep hitting it at plus money. So give that to me. Chris Buescher, speaking of paint schemes, paint scheme of the year alert. Chris Buescher in the taco machine. I was telling our buddy James Rowland, I thought that he said he wants some shells, like some Chris Buescher shells. And I was like, you mean some crispy shells? Like, come on. This is perfect marketing, all right? But you're giving us Chris Buescher at 2-1 for a top 10 finish. I guess what he did last week. He finished in the top 10. Guess what he's done in 4 of 6 races this year? He's finished in the top 10. So, yes, we keep coming back to these same bets week after week because they keep giving it to us. 2-1. He's been top 15 of 4 of the 6 next-gen races here. Obviously, continues to get better. Last week, I was watching the race at Homestead there, and another nice graphic. Again, go to the YouTube. That's where you're gonna see this. But I think it was Clint Boyer. We get down to towards the end of the race, and he's just all of a sudden says, and look at Chris Buescher just coming out of nowhere. He's got a chance here. And you're like, and I'm screaming like, yes, this is every week with Chris Buescher. You don't see the guy all fucking day. And then all of a sudden, holy shit, he might win this race. Like he's in the mix. That's what you love. That's how he gets you the top 10s. Absolutely. Give me Chris Buescher top 10 along with the Alex Bowman top 10. If it keeps working, we're going to keep playing it. And I don't really feel bad about that.
Well, we've said this a lot, too, over the course of our 3 or 4 seasons on the air. It's like, if you get tired of winning money, then that's you. That's not us. We're trying to give you the bets that we feel responsible for cashing. And if you get tired of winning money off of them, then maybe the show's not for you. It's just, I'm sorry.
It's just like, it's one of those things where, yeah, I mean, maybe you're tired of hearing about it. Although, again, if you're betting it, why would you be tired of hearing about it? But Maybe you aren't, but if it's not broke, we're not going to fix it. So just keep making these bets until, and really with both of these guys, it's the same story each and every week. They can do it no matter where you go, no matter what it looks like. A few weeks ago at Phoenix, I said I'm staying away from the Bowman one. Hasn't been as good. Doesn't matter. Still got a top 10, even though we didn't bet it that week when we should have. But yeah, these guys have been auto plays for us. It's worked out well. So until it stops working, we're going to keep rolling with it.
Agreed. All right. I'm going to buck the trend as far as what year this is. I know it's 2025, and I know that we dog a lot on Joey Logano in odd years, but I'm going to actually go out on a limb here and say Joey Logano finishes better than Chase Briscoe. This is minus 120 over on ESPN Bet, and obviously you see it on the screen here as far as what Joey Logano has done over the course of his career here. And what stands out to me the most, right? He's got 32 career starts, 20 top 10 finishes, 11 top 5 finishes, 6 poles, and 1 win back in 2018. His average start here is 8.4. His average finish is 10.8. He has led over 1,200 laps on this track. But what I really go back to it, and this is something that we talk about when we're talking odd year, even year Joey Logano, right? It's always such a night and day difference on some of these tracks, but not really on Martinsville. If you go back, his last finish outside of the top 10 on this track came in 2019. Since then, 8th, 4th, 3rd, 6th, 10th, 2nd, 6th, 2nd, 5th, 6th, 10th. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's an odd year or an even year. Joey Logano tools around this track better than anybody out there for the most part. So, like, to me, the consistency of Joey Logano on this track doesn't scare me from this is an odd year Joey Logano. For whatever reason, it doesn't matter to Joey at Martinsville. Start the season, he actually hasn't actually been that far outside of the top 10 in 3 of the, or rather 4 of the 5 races that we've been in. 12th in Atlanta, 13th at Phoenix, 15th at Las Vegas, 14th at Homestead. So, I mean, he's circling around the top 10, and then you get to a track where he lives inside of the top 10. So I 1,000% am on Joey Logano to beat Chase Briscoe, who, by the way, is not, I don't have a fancy graphic for Chase Briscoe. He hasn't earned one yet. His average start here is 10.5, average finish 12.6. Granted, he has had a good string of finishes here. 9th in 2022 in the spring, 9th in the fall of that year, 5th in 2023, 4th in 2023. These are all in the 14, right? 10th in last year's spring race, 15th in last year's fall race. But I don't know. Like, yeah, he shot up and got a 4th place finish for you last week, but I mean, that race was sort of, for me, that race was, we didn't even talk about that race. That race was kind of a crazy race in and of itself. So for Briscoe to be able to survive and be in the top 4, that's impressive. But before that, 17th at Vegas, 35th at Phoenix, 14th at Austin, 21st. And I mean, he hasn't settled into it yet. And this is a track where, yeah, he's going to probably finish inside of the top 15, which he's done already a lot. But Joey Logano's been consistently better than him here. He's been running in the top 5, top 6 versus Briscoe, who's been running inside of the top 10. So give me Joey Logano over Chase Briscoe, minus 120 over on ESPN.
This is a tough one. Obviously, Logano is the hardest guy in the garage to handicap. I stick by that. He's tough, and it's crazy because laps led in the Cup Series, you know who easily has the most this season? It's Joey Logano with 247. Austin Cindric is actually second with 159. This is per Racing Insights or NASCAR Insights, which is Racing Insights. But he doesn't have any top 10s this whole season, 6 races as a defending champion. So it's crazy. Briscoe, obviously, as we've noted, has struggled out of the gate, but good finish last week. Is he starting to figure it out? I think it was on Stacking Pennies, they were talking about how Chase had been telling Corey that this car is just so good he doesn't know how to drive it because he's never driven anything that good. So he's learning. And did he start to figure it out last week? He's a short, flat guy. Oh, boy, there's too many things going in both directions with these. So I don't really know which way to go, but you like Logano, so I'll ride it with you. Lee checking in at top 5, just hit on DraftKings. Shout out to the books for actually having shit up nice and early this week. It had to have been basketball last week. That had to have been what the deal was. So I guess we'll just have to prepare for that next week. But Dirty Reg checking in. He's done with the Money Pit Bell. It was hard not to to get Bell this week, but no Bell. King, am I late? You're never too late. You can listen to the rest of the show and then go back and listen to the beginning of the show and put it all together. It's a lot of fun.
I think he means, is he too late to have heard Ty Gibbs' name? You're going to be waiting a long time.
Well, he just heard it because you said it. So,
hey, there's the workaround, right? Gotta love it.
I wanted to. I tried. I looked.
No, I didn't want to do it because I knew better than to do that.
We know you didn't want to do it, Rod.
I know. All right, let's get to some more picks. But before we do, I would like to take this opportunity to tell you about Underdog. Time for my bonus Underdog pick'em. With Underdog pick'em, you can play any sport and win up to 100x. I'm just going to pull up Supercross here. There is a Aaron Plessinger, right? He's a Supercross driver out there. Those little motorcycles that go vroom, vroom, vroom. His finishing position is set at 5.5. This dude's actually pretty damn good. I did a little research on him a while back, and he's actually pretty good. He finishes inside the top 5 most of the time. So Aaron Plessinger, he's 5.5. Give me the better than on that one. I love it. If you want to watch some Supercross, it's out there and have some fun doing. And then of course you can stack in a lot of other picks on top of it, especially, coming up soon. So at Aaron Plessinger, 5.5, give me the better than. Lock it in. Sign up in the meantime with our promo code RACESGPN. You're going to claim a special pick and first time deposit offer up to $1,000 in bonus credits. That's underdogfantasy.com. Promo code RACESGPN. Allow me to introduce you to Edge Boost. It is a very, very important tool for those of you who have your card denied at sportsbooks, DFS sites, sweepstakes sites, racetracks, casino. You can avoid all of that with Edge Boost and all the hassle that comes with it. Plus, you can earn up to $750 per month in cashback rewards for using that Edge Boost card. And you know your money's safe. The card is FDIC insured. And the best part, no credit check, and it's completely free. So sign up today at edgeboost.bet. Promo code SGPN.
Richard, chat is blowing up. Richard checking shortened Martinsville races now. They have not shortened them, but there is a difference. And maybe I didn't put this into the handicap as much as I maybe should have. I don't know. The fall race is 500 miles and the spring race is 400 miles. It's been that way, I believe, a couple of years at least now. So there is certainly a difference, which we've talked about at some other tracks where it can make a bigger difference. But yeah, for whatever reason, they have the spring race as the shorter one and the fall race as the longer race. So just how it rolls, I suppose.
All right, who do we got next there?
Next up for me, got a couple of top 10s that I want to hit. If you have access to Bet365, AJ Allmendinger's top 10 is 9-1 over there. I think he was plus 550 on ESPN Bet, where I had originally was going to take it at that number. So even if that's all you can get, I would still take it. But 9-1, sign me up. AJ Allmendinger, look, this is a similar case to Bowman and Buescher, where he's been clicking lately. 7th place last week in Miami, 8th place the week before at Phoenix. Couple of good runs in a row. You like that. The bad thing I guess I'll say about AJ, he has 4 next-gen race starts at Martinsville, and they've not been good. 23rd is the best finish in them. So the only thing that gives me a little bit of pause is that. But he's been really good at this track in the past. In the JTG Doherty car, he had an 8th place finish, a 2nd, a 6th, a 10th, an 11th, a 9th, all the way back. It's so crazy to look back way back at some of these things. When he was driving the number 22 car for Penske prior to his drug days and losing that ride. But think about how things could have been different if AJ would have stuck in the 22 Penske car. Maybe Joey Logano doesn't go there. What, like the butterfly effect from that, crazy. But he had a 2nd place finish in that 22 Penske car here. So he's been good in the past here. It's not played out in the next gen car, but also like the way that I'm looking at AJ right now, things are clicking. This season's going pretty good, especially over the last 2 weeks. The first couple of weeks were okay, right? Not outstanding results, but good enough runs. Now you've got 2 big weeks in a row clicked off. Things are going good. We've actually seen speed out of Ty Dillon in calling car. Like they're showing a little bit of something, and whether that's putting Ty Dillon in that car and getting upped engines from RCR, because we assume that's what the deal was, is that panning out and really helping AJ? Potentially. But in his 4 starts here, you had the full-time AJ that looked like he was just done with racing and didn't want to be there anymore. And we kept talking about how unhappy he looked and he needed to get away from it. Then he was back in the Xfinity Series, so he's a part-time guy. Now maybe we got rejuvenated AJ. That's what I'm looking for. But 9-1 or even plus 550 if that's what you can get, coming off of 2 back-to-back top 10s. And short tracks, especially like Martinsville, braking is such a big deal here. That tends to lean in favor of road course guys. AJ, obviously, a big road course guy. So I like that angle as well. Speaking of road course guys, that's right. SVG is the surprise top 10. I know Andrew guessed it a while back in the chat. Spoiled it for everybody, but that's okay. SVG top 10, 9-1 as well for SVG. One start here, Rod, back in the fall. 12th place finish for him. So not too far out of there in the one start he made. I knew that that's like the bat signal for Nico. He's always in the chat, just like not appearing. You say SVG and he shows up just like that. You got to love it. Welcome, Nico. But it's been rough to start the season. Like he's full-time Cup Series rookie, like sort of what we kind of expected to see, right? But 6th place run at Coda was a decent day. Let's go back to the Clash. Now, the Clash, not a race that we're going to give full credit to because weird format, partial race, quarter-mile track, even smaller than this, but really short track, braking coming into play, all of those things, you put them together. SVG had a 9th place finish at the Clash. So I like that as well. At 9-1, he's the guy, and I know the guys in the Discord were talking about it, but top 10 odds are getting a little bit watered down a little more each week. Like, it's harder to grab the Noah Gregsons or the some of the guys in the middle there because they keep shrinking them. For some reason, they keep giving us Bowman and Busher, so hopefully they just keep doing that. But SVG at this number, I think this could be the race where you pop up and you're just like, whoa, SVG's not been running that good, and look what happened this week. So kind of calling my shot here, but this is the perfect place for it to all come together using that road course stuff and just him continuing to learn. And again, rookie, yes, but veteran race car driver, knows what he's doing, knows how to take care of his equipment. And he finished 12th there in the fall, the one chance he's had in the Cup Series. So, and he's in better equipment now in the Trackhouse car. Is Trackhouse better than Call It? I don't know. We'll find out, I guess. But give me SVG top 10 and 9-1.
That is the one that I was there and I was just about to put it in the doc and I pulled back just because of what happened this season, but I'm glad you got him in there. So, and then of course, AJ, my spirit driver, cannot argue with you on an AJ top 10 at all. So, all right, because I could not pick just one guy. Well, I did, but Caesars gives you these pre-built top 10s. They kind of parlay them together for you already because they don't give you top 10 straight up odds. So they picked Elliott, Byron, and Hamlin as a group, and all top 10 finishes for them. They give that to it's just slightly over plus money, so plus 105 for all three of these guys to be in the top 10. I mean, when you look at Chase Elliott, this track has been fantastic for him, right? 19 career starts, 12 top 10 finishes. So he's only finished outside of the top 10 in 7 of his races of his career starts here. 7 top 5s, 1 pole. He does have a win. His average start 8.8. His average finish is 12.1, and he has led 1,233 laps around this track. So for Chase Elliott, I mean, again, he lives around the top 10 in this particular track. And if you look, 2 of his last 3 have been top 10 finishes, but actually in 5 of his last 6 have been top 10 finishes. So the only time he finished outside of the top 10 was a 17th place finish in the fall of 2023. But outside of that, the last 5 have been top 10 finishes. And he's led laps in just about every single one of those, all but one of those as well. He's led laps. And so he's been a fast car. And if you look at iFantasy race for these guys, they give you the top 10 average finish in the next gen era. Chase Elliott average finish 8.8. Last time I checked, that is inside of the top 10. So that's an easy sell for him. And then you look at Denny Hamlin. This is the one where, when you look at Denny Hamlin, it's like his name is all over this track, right? 38 career starts, 26 top 10 finishes, 20 top 5. The 26 top 10 finishes is impressive enough, but 20 top 5 finishes, 4 poles, 5 wins, the most of active drivers. His average start, 9.5. His average finish right on the top 10 line with 2,448 laps led on this one. And if you look at his next gen average finish, it's 9.5. So again, another average finish that is better than 10. So again, when you're putting these guys inside of the top 10 together, that's almost a no-brainer. And for William Byron, it's the same story, right? William Byron, thanks to our friends at iFantasy Races, that average finish in the next gen era, 8.7 for this one. William Byron is also 7th in overall speed ranking in the next gen era. And yeah, I mean, he's one of the better drivers on this track year after year after year. So two of his last finishes have been inside of the top 10. He won that race in 2024, and then a 6th place finish in the fall of that year. Had a bad 2023, 23rd and 13, but before that, 7th in 2022 in the fall. He won the 2022 spring race, 4th in the fall of 2021. I'm sorry, 5th in the fall of 2021, 4th in the spring of 2021. So William Byron, 14 starts, 8 top 10 finishes. I mean, it's great statistics for him all over the place for William Byron. So now you're getting all 3 of these guys together in the top 10, which they should be running, which they should finish at plus money. I'll take that because individually, like you're right, their top 10 odds are just trash. So you got to put them together. And I think Caesars did a good job of giving you a decent price for all 3 of them to finish in the top 10.
Yeah, I have zero argument against any of these guys. I expect all 3 of them to be really good this week. So top 5 really, or top 10 for all 3 is not asking much in my opinion. So I like it.
Beautiful. All right, Cody, where are we going next?
Yes, we're going to go. DraftKings has the most fast laps market that's been out there. Decided to dive a little deeper into that this week. Couple of guys that I like. Actually, 2 of them you just talked about. Chase Elliott, plus 850. William Byron at 12-1. I actually really like both of these guys. So if you go back to the fall race here that we just had, Chase Elliott, most fastest laps, 64 fastest laps in that race. William Byron was 3rd place in that race with 38. If you go back to the spring of last season, guess who had the most once again? Chase Elliott. So 2 races in a row. Most laps led. Well, this was 2023 Chase Elliott. Had what? 1 win. Didn't really, I mean, very consistent, but not like great, all these awesome runs, stuff like that. But had 41 laps led in the spring. That was the most. William Byron was 6th place, 24 laps led, 24 fastest laps rather, which is what we're looking for here. Go back to the fall of 23 race. So this is the last 3 races. Chase Elliott was 3rd in that race with 28 fastest laps. Martin Truex Jr., one of the guys that was ahead of him, obviously not racing anymore. So you take him out of there of active drivers left. He was 2nd in that race. So Chase Elliott especially has been really good at the top of this. But William Byron, look, it's springtime William Byron. Keep harping on it, but he keeps showing up and doing good. I'm actually extremely high on Elliott this week. I've got some more on him in a bit. You just made the case for both of these guys to have good finishes. If you're going to have most fastest laps, you're going to need to be running well, be running up front. We've seen it a lot from both of these guys lately. So yeah, give me Chase Elliott at 850 to plus 850 rather. Be nice if it was 850-1. That'd be great. Plus 850 though for most fastest laps, and William Byron 12-1 for most fastest laps over on DraftKings.
Love it. Yeah, again, both of these guys, they're going to be, and really, if you look, I'll talk about them a little bit later too, but if you look at the success that even Hendrick Motorsports has had in general on this track, it's, you always think of it as JGR when you think of Martin Truex Jr. and Denny Hamlin and all the success they've had, but Hendrick is right there in that conversation. So absolutely love it. All right. You want to talk about guys that have just been doing it for us this season? It's Josh Berry. Not going to jump off of Josh Berry at this point, especially when his top 10 numbers is still at plus money, plus 110 for Josh Berry to be a top 10 car again. Las Vegas won the race. Phoenix was 4th last week at Homestead. You want to talk about heartbreak for Josh Berry? That 21 car should have been a top 10 car all the way through. He did start on the outside pole, had speed all weekend long. You just get caught up with it. I was never able to recover from that mistake. You get spun around in the freaking pits, no less. I wanted to jump every single person that was involved in that spin, and you just couldn't recover from that. But he still finished 17th. I mean, to be spun around in the pits, to lose all that track position, and to be, as behind the 8 ball as he was, to still finish in 17th place. Got a rally for that finish, but I still think he was in line for another top 10 finish. I think that 21 team knows it, I think that 21 team is going to be on the hunt for another fast weekend. And for Josh Berry, he has 2 starts on this track as a Cup driver. Started 7th in 2024 in the spring race in that 4 car, finished 25th, unfortunately. Started 11th in the fall race so he's had speed at the beginning, but then finished 16th in the fall as well. We've seen something out of this 21 team this season that I don't know that anybody other than maybe the few of us that were Josh Berry truthers believed could happen. And that is for him to actually come out and do well and run in the top 5, in the top 10 on a week-to-week basis. And so I feel like this is another opportunity, especially at plus 110, for you to get a great number. This isn't going to last. If he comes out and finishes top 10 again this week, you're not going to see a plus 110. You're going to see minus 110 on the other side of it for Josh Berry as a top 10 car. So give it to me now while I can get it. Josh Berry, top 10, plus 110.
I'm not going to argue against plus 110. They've corrected a lot. I'll say that for sure. But boy, he's shown to us what he can do, right? What he's capable of. I mean, going back and referencing that laps led chart that I was talking about earlier. First of all, Penske is 1, 2, 3. Logano, Cindric, Blaney in laps led, and then Berry is 8th place on that list. So they've got something figured out over there, and he's obviously done really well this season. And I've been very wrong on him so far. So yeah, I'm not going to argue against the bet for sure.
I'll say one thing. Richard asked Berry about having 2 Xfinity wins at Vegas. Yes, but he actually has a win at Martinsville in the Xfinity Series as well, and 2 top 5 finishes. So,
like, this is where he should thrive the most, right? He's a car steward guy, a late model guy, short tracks. Like, this is his jam where he should be the best. He saw a really good run at Phoenix a couple weeks ago, which is, on a different scale, but a similar thing, short flat track type of thing. So, yeah, hard to argue too much with it. Wanted to say hi to Walter, saying, what's up, guys? What's going on, Walter? Chat keeping busy today. I like it. All right, Rod, next up, I did find a way to get in on Ryan Preece, and that is the top Ford market. I'm going to take him at 12-1 to be the top finishing Ford. Again, Ford just weaker kind of at the top. Although the 3 Penske guys, obviously always a threat. Joey's been great here. Ryan Blaney, I was hoping he wasn't going to be such a heavy favorite. He is the favorite this week by a good bit, which is a bit unfortunate, but can things go wrong for Ryan Blaney? Well, he's blown a motor 2 out of the last 3 weeks when he hadn't blown one since 2019. So things can go wrong. And we've seen some crazy, really top Ford finishers this year. Gragson getting it done, Berry getting it done, a couple of other guys. That Ford market is weird because Logano should be great, right? But it's odd year Logano. He's led all these laps. He's not finished well. And Blaney's had the issues he's had. And it can just really open things up. So Preece 12-1 for top finishing Ford. I think that this is a good spot to get in on him. He has looked really good here in the past, actually. Go back to 2023. Started on the pole in that race, led 135 laps out of the gate. Got the speeding penalty. It put him back there. And unfortunately, the result wasn't there. But he showed what he was capable of in SHR equipment and what he could get done if he gets the track position. Speaking of short flat track guys, he's a modified guy. Martinsville, like, this is modified guys' jam. Like, this is what they do. And he loves this type of racing, this type of track. Like I said, outside of Berry, I said this last week, but outside of Berry, who's been the most impressive, I would say, this year, Preece has been the next guy who's impressed me the most in this equipment at RFK. I expected RFK to be good, but I didn't expect him to be so good, and he's looked good. 14th and 9th place finishes last year, too, at Martinsville, so decent runs, right? But he's coming off of that 3rd place finish at Vegas, 9th place last week. The momentum is there. You love it. You go back to the Clash again, use it loosely, but it is a pretty decent comparison. Actually, really track type wise, probably the closest one you get, even though it's still loose. But 11th place run for him there in the main event. So he started off the season good in this RFK equipment. I've liked what I've seen. We've seen the top Ford have some, and really, we've seen the top manufacturer of everything have some flexes and different things. Bubba Wallace, top Toyota last week, when you think, wow, look how good Reddick is here. Wow, look how good Christopher Bell is at Homestead. And yet it was Bubba Wallace who, well, he'd been good, and we talked about him in the fantasy show and expected some stuff from him. You didn't see that coming, right? Well, I'm going to take him to do it back-to-back weeks because I've got him as the top finishing Toyota, plus 850 as well. And really, things are clicking for him. Revitalized, I think, is kind of the word I'm seeing there. And he was actually on Stacking Pennies this week as well with Corey LaJoy, talking about the crew chief change and how it's been a positive for him. And they're actually, when they're trying to make changes, they're making the right changes and sort of alluding to the fact that maybe this crew chief's listening a little better or knows what to do better. And that's a good thing for him. That's great. Guess what? Last spring, 4th place. Ooh, top finishing Toyota. There you go. He did it last year. He did it last week. You love both those things. He's been top 11 in 4 of the last 5 races here, all in the next gen car. So he's been running really good at this track. You like that. Again, he actually, if you look, so you think, oh, Christopher Bell, short, flat guy. But if you look at the Toyota field, Denny Hamlin's really good at Martinsville. Denny Hamlin's actually in the next-gen era the only Toyota that has a better average finish than Bubba Wallace does here. Tyler Reddick had a good finish here last year, but he's really struggled at Martinsville overall. Christopher Bell, initially the odds came out. I was like, not getting a lot of respect. He's not been very good here for being the short, flat guy that we think of him as. He's not, maybe it's too short, I guess. I don't know, but he's not been that good here. Ty Gibbs has obviously had his fair share of problems. So it's a bit more wide open. Briscoe, what are we going to get, right? Are we going to get this new Briscoe from last week? Or are we going to get the Briscoe so a lot of open questions in the Toyota camp. Denny obviously is the main guy you're going to be worried about. I think he's going to have a good run, but like we saw last week, Bubba is capable of beating him. And he's clicking on all strides right now. And we're at the point of the season where momentum's starting to mean more, and you're starting to be able to tell which teams are hitting in Bubba, which teams are missing in like the Ty Gibbs. Like they've got to figure some stuff out, right? And hopefully by Bristol they get it figured out so we can bet on them to win there. But this week for me, it's Bubba to be the top finishing Toyota at plus 850, along with the Priest top Ford at 12-1.
I love both of these just from the simple fact that for Priest, we thought, oh man, this guy, we didn't know what to think of him. And he's been the best. I think he's been the best RFK car out there. I know you and your Busher love. That's fine. I don't disrespect him.
Busher's been more consistent, but Priest has been more flashy for sure, I suppose, so far.
Yeah.
So far. Busher will get his wins, and we're going to hit him 40+1 one of these weeks, and it's going to be great. But Priest he's looked the part for sure.
Yes, he has. All right. I'm going to return to my winning car number ways, and I'm going to take the winning car number to be odd at minus 115 over on Caesars. Really, this was just a coin flip. And in the book, I mean, Caesars did it either way, 115 too. So if you want to go even, you can. But I'm going to go odd because for me, there's a couple of drivers in the odd camp that it gives you Chastain. It gives you Dillon, which you're not really all that excited about. But it gives you Kyle Larson, right, who we definitely think is going to be good here. It gives you Denny Hamlin. It gives you Chase Elliott. It also gives you Chris Buescher. This will be my way to get in on Chris Buescher. It also gives you Chase Briscoe. This is my way to get in on Chase Briscoe, right? These are guys that I wouldn't necessarily want to bet outright, but if they win and cover this, then that's fantastic. It does give you Josh Berry, who we just talked about him winning Phoenix and him being good at these types of tracks. So that's great. It gives you Bubba Wallace, too, if Bubba ends up winning. It gives you Cole Custer. That should make you feel good at night and sleep well. No, it gives you Tyler Reddick. It gives you a lot of great drivers out there that I think could stand to win this race. And to me, it's really the two, right? It's Larson, it's Hamlin, and then to a certain lesser extent, maybe Chase Elliott. But I don't want to pick between all three of these. I mean, obviously, I'm going to have to later on. But if I really just wanted to place one bet to cover myself on 4 or 5 different drivers that I think can win this race, the odd number is where it's at minus 115. But if I want to get even more specific, that 10 to 18 band is actually at plus 260 over there. And really what that 10 to 16 band gives you is it gives you Hamlin and it gives you Blaney, right? Then now you pick up Blaney. It also gives you Allmendinger and it gives you Buescher and it gives you Ty Dillon if you really feel that way and feel froggy. Although just bet Ty Dillon's outright if you really want that. But
don't do that either. We're supposed to be giving advice out here, Rod.
Well, I'm giving you advice. It's not good advice. It's just advice. No, but really, again, if you find yourself not wanting to choose between some of these drivers, these number bets are the better way to get in on it because then you don't have to worry about it, right? Because then if Danny passes Ryan for the lead in the last lap, you're not completely screwed because you've got that number band of 10 to 18. You've also got the odd number bet if Denny ends up being the guy to pass Blaney. So there's a lot of wiggle room in these number bets, and I think the odd number is the way to go this week, and I think that 10 to 18 band also covers you just in case Ryan Blaney passes up Hamlin and you lose that odd number bet. You still get more money actually in that 10 to 18 if that's the case. So plus, if Ryan Blaney blows up and Denny Hamlin's the winner of this race, then you're still good because you've now doubled up on the odd number bet and the car number between 10 and 18. So definitely love the both ways to approach that this week.
Yeah, you're covering a lot of different ways to cover quite a few pretty good drivers, which I like. You could say that first bet's a little odd. Got to toss in the dad joke when I get a chance.
Follow us on Twitter, everybody. We'll see you guys next week. No, I'm just kidding.
All right.
Cody learned where the button was, by the way.
I did learn. Rod did not look prepared, so I prepared myself, figured it out, and yeah, I feel, you know what? A little pat on the back, feel good. All right, time for the car lift. Again, I was kind of hoping for Ryan Priest's car lift action this week. Didn't work out, but I fell in love with one Austin Cindric this week. So we're going to ride his car lift top 10 plus 185, top 5 6-1, top 4 12-1, win the race 35-1. Austin Cindric in 3 races here has been inside of the top, or in rather 6 next gen races here, has been inside of the top 11 in 3 of those, so 50% hit rate. And iFantasy Race pointing out last fall in this race where he finished in 4th place, he started last place in the race, but legit worked his way through the field, got up front, had the 5th fastest car on the track in the last quarter of the race. So shout out to Ryan over at iFantasy for that stat. But 4th here in the fall, he had a 9th place finish in 23, 11th place finish in 22. Austin Cindric's going to get one good finish, one bad finish at Martinsville. Sometimes it's going to be in the spring, sometimes it's going to be in the fall. So let's hope this is the good week. But another one where what we've seen to start the season and how things have looked, he's 2nd place on the laps led board 3 races into the season. And yes, sure, some of that's been the super speedways, but to be there still or 6 races into the season is very impressive. And we sort of talked about him in the offseason, and kind of time to shit or get off the pot for Austin Cindric. Like, you're getting into I think he's his 4th season now. We saw all the talent in Xfinity. He dominated at that level. We talk about Ty Gibbs. Give him a break, guys. It takes a little bit of time to get into it. But once they find that seating and they're in these elite cars like an Austin Cindric is, this is your chance. And we're starting to, I think, see that pay off. And we've seen some good runs here. We've seen some good runs this season. So, yeah, all aboard the Austin Cindric train this week and riding that car lift from the top 10 all the way up to win the race.
Got to love it. Yeah, I mean, look at Austin Cindric. Not only is he obviously a talented NASCAR driver, but he's actually one of my favorite pit reporters in the drivers only ones. He's pretty damn good. Yeah. Absolutely. I had to mute when Carson Hocevar came on, but I always unmuted when Austin Cindric came on.
Again, this is we need a running tally. How many shows in a week or in a row is Rod going to work in Carson Hocevar? Not anywhere on the card. Nobody's mentioning him. We're not going to talk about him. Boom. Just talking about Austin Cindric. And here comes Rod with a chair. Oh my God, it's Carson Hocevar. Like, what is going on, Rod?
My WWE roots are showing at this point. Hey, listen, if Carson Hocevar ever has a podcast, he can talk about me all he wants. I don't even care at all. But all right. We talked earlier about the Byron and the Bowman part of all of this. We haven't really talked about Larson. So Richard, we're about to talk about Larson. Get your ear pods in nice and tight. The Team Triple is back on the Caesars Sportsbook, and I'm selecting the Hendrick Motorsports Team Triple, and I'm gonna stack it this way. There's a couple different ways on there that Hendrick is the combinations of them, but I'm gonna take the Larson to win, Byron top 5, and Bowman top 10. I mean, we've already talked about the top 10 bet for Bowman. We talked about how good Byron is here. So both of those pieces we've already defended earlier in the show. But for Kyle Larson, he does only have one win on this track. And that's really the hardest part of this all, is because out of all these guys, you figure that Larson's probably got 16 wins on this track in 4 career starts, but he doesn't. He's only got the one, and that was in 2023, but it was the spring race, so we can take that with us. He started 19th in that race, led 30 laps, won that race. Impressive, right? But really what you look at is his last 5 finishes. We're talking 4 top 3 finishes. We're talking 3 top 2 finishes in the last 5 races on this track. His only finish outside of the top 5 was, wait for it, a 6th place finish in the fall of 2023. So he's led laps in 4 of the 5 races, 68 to be exact in the 2022 spring or fall race, rather 30 in the spring race of 2023. He led 86 laps in the spring race of 2024 and 71 in the fall race of 2024. Larson is going to be a contender on this track. He is going to be in the conversation for a win on this track all day long. It's not going to go away. So for me, if I'm going to pick Larson as a winner, then I might as well just go ahead and put 2 other sure bets in there, right? We talked about William Byron's finishing positions on this one already. William Byron, average of 8.7, not too far outside of the top 5 for him. And then, of course, for Alex Bowman, we just know that week after week after week, he is a top 10 contender. So, yeah, I mean, look at for 22-1 for this team triple, talking about one of the hottest teams in all the sports. For 3 of those drivers to be where they need to be to get this, I like it.
I absolutely love this bet. You are essentially getting Larson to win at 22-1. Yes, there are still 2 other legs to the parlay, but those are the easier legs. And this isn't where they put it at Larson to win, Bowman top 5, Byron top 10, to where they trick you into like, oh, Byron's getting the top 10. Bowman just has to sneak up there. No, like Byron in the top 5 is not crazy. He's in the top 5 almost every week. He's really good at this track. And Bowman is a top 10 fucking machine. We just got done talking about that. So, boy, you love that. So, Andrew checking in, talking about off the rope. Caesar's top 10s just dropped. AJ Allmendinger 12-1, SVG at 15-1. Oh, do not waste any more time, friends. Go over to Caesar's right now. Shout out to Andrew for finding that. Much better lines than obviously earlier. So, yeah, and they don't usually have single top 10s on a Wednesday. Oh my goodness. We're going places, Rod, and I love it. Speaking of going places, let's go to Victory Lane. My guy, the 2025 NASCAR Cup Series champion, Chase Elliott. He is about to get his 2nd win of the season. That's right. Don't forget about the win at the Clash at Bowman Gray. Short, flat track. He dominated that race. Who's led the most laps in the next-gen car at Martinsville? It is Chase Elliott by a handful, actually more than a handful, by quite a bit. 515 laps he's led here in the next-gen era. You'll love that. He's 2nd place here in the fall, 3rd place here in the spring. 4 top 2 finishes here. He's got a win here. We don't see on a week-to-week basis that Chase Elliott has all this speed, all this. This is a finesse track, the braking, the road course ability. He has got all of those things. I was hoping the number was going to be a little bigger than 750, but everything points to this is the week he gets on the board. Hendrick has been popping off. Byron obviously has the win, has been running great. Larson wins last week, has been running great. Bowman looked outstanding last week, almost won the race. Elliott has still just been solid like he always is, but has that Clash win to open up the season where he got the track position, he got out front, and he looked unbeatable and he won the race, right? That's what I think we're going to get this week from Chase Elliott. Calling my shot on the champ to get his 1st win of the year, plus 750. Already tossed out the Cindric at 35-1 as part of the car lift, but Ryan Preece at 30-1. I think that it's still worth the bet. Talked about him earlier. And hey, guess what? Chris Buescher's 40-1 more. Oh, but look, Chris Buescher suddenly in the top 6. Where did he come from, Rod? He might have a shot at winning this race each and every single fucking week. He can win anywhere. He should never be 40-1. I will continue to bet this, and we will hit Chris Buescher to win at this number at some point this season. Mark my words. Don't miss it. You don't want to be left standing there saying, fuck, he was right, when Chris Buescher ends up in Victory Lane at the most random place you could think. think of Martinsville might just be that place. Love him at 40 to 1.
I mean, that's what happens when you wait on Raja Karuth and you hit him 80 to 1, and then you miss out on for the rest of the life because they catch up as well. Books are smart, definitely smart for that. All right, my outright pick. We're going to Denny Hamlin. If not now, Denny, when? When are you going to win? 8 to 1 over on ESPN Bet. Just talked about it. I mean, look, this is his home state race. He just loves to be around this track. 5th place finish in the fall of last year, 11th place in the spring, 3rd, 4th, 5th. I mean, a bad run in 2021 and 2022, 24th and 28th, but 3rd. I mean, for a guy to have 20 top 5 finishes in 38 starts in his career, I mean, he goes all the way back to 2005. The fall of 2005 was Denny Hamlin's first trip around Martinsville. 100,000% this guy is due for another win. He hasn't tasted victory lane since 2015 on this track. I just, when you're a guy that's led as many laps as he has, obviously the most of active drivers on this track, he led 66 in the spring of last year, 156 in the fall of the year before that, 36, 203, 103, 276. It's got to come. It's got to happen for Denny. And he's had such a frustrating year so far as just finding his groove. Like this
he looked
11
good
team,
last week.
He did.
Good.
He did. And that's the frustrating part about it, is because he started to come around and you thought for a second, you're like, oh, here we come. Denny Hamlin's back on the charge. Finished 5th place right at Homestead after starting 23rd. He had to work his way all the way through the field. 2nd at Phoenix, runner up there. I mean, not a short track, but definitely a shorter, flatter track. So, yeah, I mean, Denny loves this track. The track loves Denny. Is this the time that he punches it in? I'd say at 8 to 1, it's worth a shot.
Worth a shot. I like it. Who finished 2nd place to Chase Elliott at that Clash race and was right on his tail the whole time? Denny Hamlin.
Young at Denny Hamlin. Denny, there you go. I'm giving you some credit for it. So. All right. That is those are our betting cards for Martinsville. So now it is time for you to get out your pen and paper. And for those of you on YouTube, go ahead and screenshot this bad boy for your pleasure later on. I started you out with Joey Logano, taking him over Chase Briscoe at -120. I'm putting Elliott, Byron, and Hamlin inside of the top 10 at +105. Thank you, Caesars, for that. I'm also putting Barry into the top 10, Josh Barry, to be exact, at +110. I'm going to take the winning car number. I'm going to take it as odd at -115. And then I'm going to take 10 to 18. I like that car number band right there at +260. Team triple on Caesars. Larson to win. Byron top 5. Bowman top 10 at 22 to 1. And I'm giving you Hamlin as the outright to win his first race in 10 years on this track at 8 to 1. Cody gave you Alex Bowman as a top 10 car at +120. Chris Buescher as a top 10 car. We live in Chris Buescher top 10 land at +200. He gave you AJ Allmendinger, who is now updated to 12 to 1 right now over on Caesars as a top 10 car. SVG 15 to 1 as a top 10 car as well. He also gave you, Chase Elliott to have the most fastest laps at +850, and William Byron to have the most fastest laps at 12 to 1. Priest as the top Ford over there at 12 to 1. And then Bubba as the top Toyota at 850 +850. Riding the Cindric car lift this week. Top 10 +185. Top 5, 6 to 1. Top Ford 12 to 1. Missing here is the 2 win at 35 to 1, but definitely add that as well. And then he's giving you Chase Elliott at +750. Ryan Priest at 30 to 1. Chris Buescher at 40 to 1 to win the Cookout 400 from the Martinsville Speedway in Martinsville, VA.
I knew I'd get you on the graphic, Rod. Joked about it when we logged into to record the show. That I was like, "Oh, did you get that change I just made?" And then, during the show, I realized I forgot to put the outright on there. So, gotcha.
Cody is a producer's nightmare. But we love him all.
I'm constantly changing things and moving things around in the dock. Sorry, Rod. Thanks for putting up with me.
Listen, man, this show does not work without
it's a crazy science. There's a lot of things going on. Things are changing. Books are popping up different odds. I got sticky notes all over the place. It takes a while to get there, but we get there.
We definitely get there for sure. And folks like Laura appreciate it. She says, thank you. Have a great evening, guys. Thank you. I feel like that's her way of shoving us out the door. So we might as well go ahead and get there.
Time to get this over with, guys. All right, Rod. Follow me over on the X at Husker_Zeeb. You can find all my stuff over there. There's a ton of stuff. NFL stuff, F1 stuff, all of it. Find it over there. Subscribe over on YouTube. I've been doing a bunch of extra stuff over there, whether it be IndyCar pick shows just on YouTube, F1 pick shows just on YouTube, shorts. My daughter's got her weekly paint scheme picks. That's becoming more popular over on the YouTube. So check that out. She always has a lot of fun with that. She killed it last week on the picks too. So props to her. She better pick the taco car this week or I'm interrupting the video, picking it myself. All right, that's it. I'm done. Get out of here. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Xfinity and trucks again. Oh, let's fucking go.
We're getting spoiled, Cody. We're getting spoiled as a taco shell car for Chris Buescher. All right. Follow me on Twitter at RJ Villagomez. Link in the bio, everything I've got going on. Doing some voiceovers for AF1. So if you go check out the highlights and you hear a familiar voice, yes, that is me. Also making my producing debut as of a couple of weeks ago on the AF One-on-One. So watch as Sophia walks through with some of the best players in Arena Football 1. And I'm the guy behind the scenes making it happen for them. So loving life right now. We'll see you guys tomorrow with Xfinity and trucks. And so, we love you all. See you then. Till then, let's go racing and let it ride.